QuickBooks Pro Desktop 2021. Customize invoice using Layout Designer settings. Let's get into it with Intuit's QuickBooks Pro Desktop 2021. Here we are in our test template file. We currently have the open windows open. You can open the open windows by going to the view dropdown, selecting the open windows list. We're now going to go to the lists dropdown. We're going to go to the templates and we're going to open up our templates lists to customize our template. Now, we created a template in the past. We're going to continue on customizing. However, if you want to start a new template, you can simply go to the templates dropdown or rise up and then go down to the new, select an invoice and follow along from there. If you have a template set up already, you can right click on it and we can go to the edit the template or simply double click on it. Probably the easiest method. First screen is the basic customization. We took a look in a prior presentation. We also have the additional customization settings. These are also kind of standardized settings. They're going to make it easy for people that aren't designers like myself to basically do some add or subtract some standard fields in a standard invoice. Now, if we want to go beyond that and do some more customization, then we have the layout designer, which gives us a whole lot more flexibility to add things. So then we can go to the layout designer here and look at some of the more advanced type settings. So we have our tools that we can lay out. If you worked with like web page designer tools and whatnot, then this might look more familiar with that. Now, I'm not an expert in the layout designer, as I know enough to kind of show the items and how they work with them, and then hopefully show enough so that if you wanted to, say, download a preset template from someone who is really good at formatting with this type of tool and then make any kind of adjustments from there, then you can use the designer to kind of make those adjustments. So let's just take a look at what we have here. We got our items up top, properties. We can add items, the adding, the text box, the data field, and the image. We can copy, we can remove, we can copy the format. We can adjust and standardize the height. So if we have different boxes that are the same, we want them to be the same height. Same with the width or the same size. And we have the centering options, and then we have the undo up there. So same kind of undo principles that you can go through. And then of course our zoom options up top. We also set the margins. So where do you want the margins here? You could set those margins down below, increase or decrease the margins as would be appropriate for your particular invoice. Then you can show the grid lines and turn the grid lines on or off. So show grid, snap grid. Grid's probably a useful thing to have so that you can kind of visualize where everything's going to go as you start to create this thing. So you can then show the envelope here, so like so, and that's going to be our general items. So if you wanted to format some of these items, if you wanted to increase or decrease some items to it, so if I wanted to say add a text item, so I can say a text box, and so then I would say, here's my traditional thank you text box. We can add it, we can left align, we can right align, we can center the text box, we can have it vertical, top, bottom, or center. We can change the color for the text box here that we're going to put in place. And we can have the different fonts and the different colors that we could put in for the text box, like so. So I could say OK, and then we have the borders. We can choose borders for the text box that we can put into place. And again, we have the color options for the border for the text box, and then the background. We might want a fill background for the text box as well. So I'll choose a background and say OK. And then okay, so there's our text box that we can have. You can grab it then, and we can move the text box. See, now I moved the wrong thing. I'm going to undo that. I want the text box right there. I want to grab that and move that, somewhere down here. So we can add, obviously, a text box. We can add a data field. So if you're adding a data field, then you can have, data input type of information that would be input into the data field. So we could select like a customer email type of data field. And then we have customer email settings down here. And so that would be a data input type of field. So with that type of setting, it'll give you some of the options, the standardized kind of options for the data fields that you can go through here. And that'll help you if you were to kind of like redesign this whole thing from scratch, basically. Then you can use some of these fields to basically remake the entire invoice in essence and input the data fields with them. So then if I wanted to copy something, obviously we can copy it. So we've got the copying option. to pull that over here. If I wanted to remove it, so we can remove it here. And then if I wanted to copy the formatting of it, I can copy the format, kind of like the format painter, and say I wanted to do it like over here, copy that formatting, and maybe put that here. So now we've got the same. I'm going to turn it off. If I wanted to adjust like the height of something, let's say I had these two boxes, like I got these two boxes, and let's say they were different size. So I'm going to grab this little fill handle and pull it out like that, and say they were a different size, and grab this little fill handle. It's a little difficult for me to grab the fill handle, and say that. So now I can select this. I'm holding down Control or holding down Shift and selecting these two items, and then I could say the same height. So that reduces the height. I could say I want them the same width, and so that made them the same width. If I just wanted to resize them in general, I'm going to try to take this fill handle down here again, which is giving me trouble. It's because I'm on two of them. And so I can just say, okay, I want that one, and I'm holding down Shift, and then I want to resize it. So now I've resized them again to the same basic size. So we have the centering option that we can use here, and again the undo and the redo. So with all those options, you've got a ton of things that you can do basically with the formatting of the form, but it takes some patience to kind of line the whole thing up. You can basically recreate, an invoice or a form in this format, and you can adjust basically the sizes of these items and whatnot, and move the whole thing around. So like I could say I want this whole thing to be a little bit higher, and then maybe I want this whole thing down here to line up. So maybe I select all that and I move it up like right there. So I have it all there, and then maybe I want my thank you thing down here, or maybe I want my own little message down here, or something like that. And then this one, I'm just gonna remove that one. This one I'll remove. I'm just hitting delete, and I'll remove that one. So those are just how you can basically customize these things. If you wanted, remember we had an issue with the color of these items because we chose the green color, and then when we added the text, it wouldn't let us add the color of the text. Well, obviously we can adjust the color of the text now. So I can like double click on the field here, and then we've got our options, and I can say, okay, I wanted that one to be red. So I'm going to choose this one to be red. And so there we have it. And so now we can adjust that. And so these items here, we don't have the green around the border, so we might like select these, and then or I might use the paintbrush here and try to greenize everything the same. So I might use this item, and then I want to copy the formatting. Say put that there, and here. So we have that green, going across the form. So we can kind of standardize the formatting there. And so you can, those are the basic tools that you can use. So I would, and then if I wanted to add I added a text box data. Obviously you can add an image as well. So if we wanted to add an image, so here's that paw print that we saw in the custom one. So if I wanted to have like a watermark, paw mark down here, that's how you can basically customize some of the formatting down there. So those are just some of the basic options. You can do a lot with that. But once you have like a custom template, we'll take a look at next time. Then downloading a custom template. If you have the general idea of these items, then you can adjust the custom templates. And if you're good at this stuff, like I said, if you've used this tool before, then you can do a whole lot of things, and you can make your own customized invoice, which can really make you stand out from other QuickBooks users, whether you're a bookkeeper or for your own business.